Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the Canelo versus Ryder Is On video, as we are going to do the announcement and preview that Canelo Alvarez will defend his undisputed super middleweight title against WBO interim champion, former world title challenger, and the current WBO mandatory #1, John Ryder of the United Kingdom. Before we get into that, guys, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, I really would appreciate any support I can get towards the channel. Just trying to grow everything, here, and I really love what I'm doing. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. But if you don't like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs down. Negative comments are fine. I'll take whatever. Just so you guys can be real with me, because I'm always trying to be real with you. So, on the Canelo and John Ryder fight. So, this fight's going to take place Saturday, May 6th on DAZN PPV. And it's going to see the reigning undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez, battling John Ryder, the WBO interim champion, former world title challenger. This fight's taking place in Mexico. Canelo wanted that. First time in years since he's fought in his home country. And this is going to be a fun and exciting fight. It really is, for all intents and purposes. Now, some people are not happy that John Ryder is the guy. I get it, but I'm kind of, where I land on it is this the most desired opponent that I wanted to see Canelo fight? Of course not. But there's a couple reasons why this fight is happening, and at the end of it, you guys need to understand that this guy is very deserving of a shot at Canelo. So let's go into why this fight's happening to begin with. Well, Canelo has his sights set on a rematch with Dimitri Bivol. A lot of people think that's going to take place at 168, and Bivol will cut weight to fight Canelo in September. But the point is that's the fight that Canelo wants, is that rematch to avenge his second pro loss. He wanted a quote-unquote tune-up fight before that because he injured a wrist last year in the Triple G fight and had to get surgery. And at first, he wasn't going to fight all the way until September. Well, he healed faster than expected, and he decided he wanted to take what he calls a tune-up bout. Now, in reality, John Ryder's a top 4 arguable. Some people might even consider him the #2 super middleweight in the world. This is not a bad fighter. So, but because he's, from the United Kingdom, doesn't have that blazing name that everybody wants to see, like David Benavidez, a lot of people are dogging this opponent selection. And I mean, I guess I understand to an extent, but the thing is a Benavidez fight needs to be, pushed a little more. And the reason I say that is, Benavidez is popular as hell, undefeated, former 2-time champ and a current interim champion. But Benavidez, in order to land Canelo, to make this fight a super fight, he needs that signature victory that he doesn't have. Yes, he defeated Anthony Durrell, which is impressive, but what other big names has he defeated? And that was back in 2019 when he did that. So he hasn't done anything since. Undefeated, got a good knockout ratio, but his opponents are not top 10 guys, most of them, not even top 10 guys. So Canelo made a statement, a long time ago, that he would never fight another Mexican. I don't like that, but in order to draw Canelo into fighting another Mexican, it's going to have to be worth it. It's going to have to be a significant fight, payday. And Benavidez would be all those right now. But if Benavidez, who's fighting Caleb Plant this month, if he were to knock out Caleb Plant, which I'm predicting him to do that, then yeah, I think the argument can be made, hey, Benavidez is ready for Canelo, and it's believable. But name recognition-wise and style-wise, Benavidez is more deserving, you know, to the average fan. But in terms of more deserving based on what he's actually done, I think you can make a strong argument that John Ryder's done more. And, you know, let's look at just 3 fights in particular, especially his last 2. But we'll start with 2019. He took on Callum Smith for the WBA title. Now, this was, actually, it was 2018. This was about a year prior to Callum Smith fighting Canelo. But John Ryder fought him, came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting anything out of him. And he took on Callum Smith, who was the #1 super middleweight in the world. Ring Magazine #1. And John Ryder took Callum Smith to the limit. Maybe Callum Smith was overlooking him a bit, whatever. And Callum Smith walked away with a controversial decision in that one. A fight that a lot of people thought that, that John Ryder won. You know, I personally only got to see the last few rounds. I thought it could have went either way based on what I saw. And the overall consensus is that it was close, but he took Callum Smith to the limit. Now, after that fight, he was avoided. He did not get draw from anybody for a fight. He really waited around for pretty much 3 years plus to land a Daniel Jacobs fight last year in 2022. You know, he just kind of stayed busy until that fight. Then he fought Jacobs, another fight. He came in the underdog. Most people thought he was going to lose. And Jacobs was boxing well in the first half, but then John Ryder closed the gap and took the second half of the fight and did enough to secure a split decision win in a close fight as he pushed forward. Then in November, he took on Zach Parker, undefeated, tall fighter from the United Kingdom, and also the guy that Demetrius Andrade avoided. Andrade had 2 fights lined up to fight Parker for the interim WBO title at 168, and he passed on. He ended up flaking out both times, and that led to John Ryder stepping in and fighting Parker for the interim belt. And it was a good competitive bout through 5 rounds, but Parker injured himself, you know? And so Ryder won by TKO. So you cannot say that John Ryder is not deserving. One, the Parker fight wasn't his fault, but he got in the ring with Parker. Demetrius Andrade, who's another name that people said there's a small base that say Canelo avoids Andrade. Well, Andrade avoided this guy, Zach Parker. John Ryder fought him, and he walked away with the win. But John Ryder defeated a very good, you know, defeated a Daniel Jacobs, who you guys can say he's past it, but he is still highly regarded at the time at super middleweight. And then he fought, you know, he also took Callum Smith to the limit a few years ago, who was the #1 guy at 168. So, you know, it's very hard to judge this fight right here, or to judge John Ryder and say that he's not deserving, because I absolutely believe he is deserving. He's a good, solid fighter. I think he'll make it somewhat competitive. Yeah, I think Canelo's, you know, above and beyond him, of course, but that doesn't mean he's not deserving, you know, and that's a unfair statement to be made, to say that he is undeserving. So, you know, it's going to be interesting when they collide on, you know, on May 6th to see what kind of fight it's going to be. But, you know, it's a good, solid opponent. It's a mandatory fight for Canelo. Canelo can take this fight and try to beat John Ryder, and, you know, he'll be able to hold on to his belts for longer before a possible another mandatory, and it just keeps him secure ahead of a showdown, a potential showdown with Dimitri Bivol. So yeah, he's a solid favorite going into this one, but don't count John Ryder out. He's been the underdog before. He's used to that role, and he likes that role. So, you know, and this is a huge opportunity for him. So, undisputed title, 168 super middleweight, Saturday, May 6th on DAZN pay-per-view. Canelo versus Ryder is on. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.